Yo, welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Great League Remix as the leagues have rotated, and so we're going to try out a different team here featuring the Shadow Empoleon paired with the Shadow Gligar and the Goodra. So here we got a pretty decent lead as the Toxapex doesn't really have any good charge moves to throw back at this Empoleon. We are going to be able to throw a neutral Drill Peck back at this Toxapex. So we're going to be able to tank this next one here. Let's see what they end up doing. We already have this Toxapex that's pretty tanky already into the yellow. So we have the health advantage right now. Firing off another Drill Peck right here gets it into the red. They switch out into their Clocksire. Clocksire here is going to be pretty interesting to deal with. We didn't really want to stay in with our Empoleon, so we're going to go into our Goodra here. We do tank one Earthquake. Earthquake right here will be able to get us into the low yellow. We're going to go for this Aqua Tail right here. Right before they get to their move, they know that they can take it. We're going to have to shield here to be able to apply pressure. And we're actually going to just look for the farm down at this point because it's better to just two shield farm down and come out with some energy. So we go for the double shield farm down, and at least we have some energy to throw back at whatever comes back in. Toxapex decides to come back in. We're going to throw this Aqua Tail right here to chip at this health. They decide to switch out after tanking that move. The Aqua Tail here does go through onto the Typhlosion. They are going to tank it and have two shields for the Typhlosion here. We're forcing them to use some energy. Thunder Punch does get thrown to take out the Empoleon, and now we have the Gligar here, and we are able to farm it down. So that is GG's for them because they're not going to be able to get to two moves. One Brine right here is going to be super effective damage, but it is not enough to take us out. So GG's to our opponents, able to win that game with the Gligar, thankfully. All right, next game, let's see what we find. So we've got the pairing of the Shadow Empoleon and Shadow Gligar complementing each other, and the Goodra is another Pokemon that is kind of a safe swap, but also just a good complement to the Empoleon as well. Oh, also of note, the Goodra is running the Aqua Tail Draco Meteor version, and not necessarily the Thunder Punch or the Power Whip, so keep that in mind. Here we got the Jellicent to deal with. This, unfortunately, is kind of iffy depending on baits and shields. So we're just going to play this one out in the one shield. We go for a Drill Peck right here to do some good neutral damage. We at least get it into the yellow and red after the fast moves. Shadow Ball does get thrown, so they're relatively energy dry at this point. We're looking for the farm down with the Goodra. We don't get the farm down, but we know this is not a Shadow Ball, so we're going to allow this one to go through. Ends up only being the Surf, so we do get the farm down. One shield to one shield. Let's see what they have in the back right here. Ends up being the Toxapex. Toxapex here is pretty tanky, as you may know. We know that we're pretty much just going to throw this Draco Meteor. Draco Meteor does a good chunk of damage, but it doesn't KO, so we were looking for a KO opportunity. That didn't happen. They're going to be able to throw another move here. Brine does roughly 40%. And at this point, we're looking to farm down. So we decided to shield again here and hope for the best. They actually have the Clocksire in the back. So Clocksire is another tanky Pokemon that they have. This is going to be very difficult to deal with because not only is Clocksire going to be able to tank one of these digs, but it's going to be able to get to their move pretty quickly here after shielding once. Trying to get to another move, and they were able to snipe our energy right here. They're going to be able to throw another Stone Edge to take out our Gligar, and at this point, not going to have enough energy or time to get to the next move, and another Stone Edge does get thrown by the Clocksire to take out our Goodra. So GG's to our opponent. Unable to beat that team right there, unfortunately. The Toxapex and Jellicent core right there is pretty solid. So next game, we're going to have the Shadow Empoleon versus the Shadow Cradily. We got a favorable matchup right here, but we kind of have some good answers in the back as well. Trying to catch a Grass Knot. Let's see if they end up throwing it. Oh, ends up being the Rock Slide. So they were throwing a bait, but unfortunately, we do have the Goodra tanking the Rock Slide. So right here, we're going to throw our Aqua Tail. Let's see if we get a shield. No shield. The Mantine here is going to struggle against this Empoleon though, so we are going to be able to fire up our own Drill Peck. This Drill Peck here does get this Mantine into the red. So potential farm down opportunity, let's find out. They are going to throw the Arrow Ace, indicating they definitely don't have probably Water Pulse, but they were probably just going to try to chip damage anyways. Our opponent here does have to tank a Hydro Cannon right here. They go into their Credility to tank that move. We're going to go into our next Hydro Cannon here to grab a shield from this Shadow Gligar. And because they didn't miss that shield right there, we just have to switch immediately afterwards. And we should be fine right here because we're up a shield. And we also are going to be able to get to at least 2 Arrow Aces in time to take them out after. Okay, they take that first one. But we're basically just have to get to build up to 2 Arrow Aces, and we should be able to win the game because we have 2 shields. And we still have a little bit of health on our Empoleon as well. So we just have to shield here and build up to 2 Arrow Aces, and that is GG's. And our opponent realizes that. So thanks for staying some time. GG's to our opponent, able to win that game with 2 shield Shadow Gligar. All right, next game. Let's see what we find. We got the Shadow Empoleon versus, what do we see? It's going to be the Quagsire. Okay. Quagsire is kind of interesting to deal with because it has a variety of moves that we have to be aware of. We're going to switch out into the Goodra, see what they have an answer for that. Our opponent here is building up a lot of energy. They decided to throw a Stone Edge. Good damage for them. And then they switch out into their own Tentacruel. Okay, so this is your Quagsire Tentacruel core. Makes sense. We'll go for the Draco Meteor. They sniff that out and are able to shield that. So we get the shield, but we actually wanted the damage more. Our opponent here does go for the Scold, and it does debuff the Shadow Empoleon. So that is bad luck right there. So that means that this Drill Peck here will not come close to taking out this Tentacruel, which allows them to get to another move here. So that is the implication of that Scold. We're going to allow it to go through. We're going to put 2 shields onto the Gligar and hope for the win. They come back in with the Quagsire here. This Quagsire is going to have to decide if they want to shield here or not. They decide to shield that right there. We are going to shield ourselves because this is most likely an Aqua Tail. Yeah, they didn't reveal the Aqua Tail, but it's definitely Aqua Tail after that shield. And then we're going to shield here to preserve the health of this Gligar. They definitely don't want to see this Gligar, right? Okay, so yeah, they have the Toxapex in the back. Kind of a tank. We know that we have to throw this dig. This dig is going to do super effective damage, but it is very tanky. Our opponent here is going to get KO'd by this dig here, and now it's a race. Can we reach our move before they get to their Aqua Tail? Oh, are we going to be able to survive this Aqua Tail from this range? I don't know if it's because of the Shadow version. No, unfortunately, unable to do that. We needed to overfarm 1 extra versus that Toxapex. So GG's to our opponent, unable to close that game with 2 shield Gligar. Like I said, we probably should have overfarmed just a tad more against that Toxapex, but it is what it is. So next game we have the Dunsparce versus our Empoleon. This Empoleon here is going to be able to tank 1 move. The Drill One does go through. Huge damage, gets us into the red. So we're going to throw our own move here. We do get the shield, and then we're going to switch out of that situation. They have their own Goodra as well. So this is a mirror Goodra. They are 1 fast move ahead, so they're going to be able to reach this move before us. We know that we can tank whatever move this is because the Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, or Aqua Tail will not be that much damage. We go for our own move here. We grab that last shield, so that's fantastic. We are going to have to come back in with Gligar, I believe, because of the timer. So we're not going to be able to go into our Empoleon. We're going to have to shield once here. Looking for the farm down. 1 shield farm down. Okay, we do get the farm down, so that's fantastic. And our opponent ends up leaving the game. So GG's to our opponent. Check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.